to my channel, Budgeted for Later. Happy New Year! To accomplish by the end of 2022. I thought a lot about my debt and what that looks like, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I didn't really know much about my debt. I knew about my credit cards and how much I owed on them, but not really the whole picture. And then I'd been ignoring my loans for a very long time. So I thought, what better way to start off the new year than with a debt confession? But before I go in, I want to explain the ending a little bit. I feel like it's still very vague, my goals, and there's a reason for it. And so the plan is to make another video, I think in February, like mid-February, when I have more of an idea of a lot of things. There are a lot of things up in the air right now that should be figured out by the end of this month, and so that video will probably come mid-February. So I just wanted to make that clear, that I know that in order to tackle this debt, it's does not make sense to have this big, vague plan that really nothing is set in stone for it. So with that said, enjoy the video. So without further ado, let's get into it. I can't find my calculator, which we'll kind of need, but I do already have these like worked out in a way that I can do without the calculator. As you know, I write on an angle, so apologies in advance. It is kind of weird being on this angle. I know for the camera, I won't change the camera to do that because it'll just be all messed up. Firstly, peep the title. So randomly, I thought of like, I'm doing the snowball method, so I was thinking about snowball and I was like, winter's coming. And that's what I had to title this thing. It's so silly, but here we are. So, oh no, we are not in 2021. We're in 2022. Happy New Year, by the way. Last night sucked. It just did. It was just so bad. I didn't even remember at some point that it was New Year's. It was like 15 minutes before midnight, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have some wine that I randomly got from a job. Let's open that and drink it for the countdown. Anyway, it sucked. It was the weirdest I've ever felt on a new year. I don't know, hopefully my spirits pick back up, but let's get back into the thing that won't pick my spirits back up, and it's my debt. So here are my credit cards all laid out, and then down here are my student loans. I have 2 cards through Synchrony, but I didn't have enough space, so I just combined them. I have my Care Credit, and I have, way back when I was young and dumb, I wasn't that young, I got a Mattress Firm, but actually it's been fine. Like, I got my bed from Mattress Firm and I couldn't afford it, and I got it like on a 6-month thing and paid it off within 6 months and never used it again, so it's fine. So that amounts to $7,300. Care Credit is $4,300, and the Mattress Warehouse is Mattress Firm is $3,000. So this is balancing $0, which means that my minimum is $0. Now, the bane of my existence, First Financial Bank USA. I hate this company. They are vultures. Firstly, this is the type of company that taps into the no credit, fresh out of high school or in high school, people who can't get any other credit cards. That's what this is. I got this card when I was in high school, about to graduate. And I think when I first got it, it was $150 was my limit. My limit now is $17,400. $17,400. And then I just found out that they have a yearly fee that was never existed before. I am happy to say though that I owe zilch on this card. So at the top of 2021, I think I owed like $11,000. And my mom, bless her soul, helped me so much to pay this off. So now the only thing that I have to worry about is the yearly maintenance fee for $45, which is crazy because there are no benefits. None. There are no cashback benefits. There are no like points system, nothing for $45. I have to be very careful about people outside my window talking and the conversations that they're having, so I can pause, because as you all know, if you watched my last video, some people were talking about some very personal things, including my address, because they also live in the building, so I had to cut that out. But so, oh, nothing on this card, $0 for the minimum. Now we get into the actual debt. So my Chase, which is my current Snowball card, has a limit of $1,500. And I'm happy to say that I think I'll put it somewhere here. I can't remember, but I feel like I started out at $1,200 on this card when I first started, like a few months back, 2 or 3 months, like making it like a priority. And I am down to $677.25. And I am going to pay $200 on this in the next day or two, so that will go down to $477. But I wanted to keep it at where it's at right now. My minimum for this is $40. I try to pay as much on here as possible, but that is my minimum. The next card is my Barclay card. There's always a story behind these cards, most of them anyway. My Barclay card happened because I got a laptop from Apple in 2012. Yeah, I've paid this card off so many times and ran it back up, and now we're at okay, this is wrong, and this is going to be the theme of this thing. I know I'm just gonna keep messing this up, even though I have it written right next to me. Pray for me, y'all. Anyway, this is at $2,695, which is crazy because I feel like I just paid it off like late 2020, early 2021. I need to get my shit together. Minimum is $76.17. I don't know. A bunch of these cards have cents on them for the minimum payment, which is so strange to me. Next is Citibank. Citibank is also another one that I've consistently been paying off and then like bringing back up, and that is called living essentially from paycheck to paycheck and creating this system where you'd be fine if you didn't have any credit card payments, but you do have credit card payments, so you're not fine, but also that also means that you need to use credit cards, because when you have to put hundreds of dollars towards credit cards every month, that's taken away from the money that you would use to buy food or buy a new coat that you need. It's just where this cycle that is created when you swipe a card and you don't pay off your card at the end of the month. This monthly payment is $111.44. Here are the two that has me in my feelings and have me so embarrassed. And it's not the amount. So overall, I'm not ashamed of my total amount. A lot of my debt comes from my student loans. And in the grand scheme of things, my credit cards, when I was doing this, I was like, wow, I thought I owed way more. It's still a lot. And I'm like, the total amount is way less than I thought I did. But individually is where like the shame comes from. So this Capital One is at a limit of $7,500. I owe $5,873. My minimum payment is $169. This card started out as a Walmart credit card. I could only use it at Walmart. Again, I think I bought a big item and I didn't have the money for it. It's something that I don't even remember what it is. I did not need it, but I bought it. I applied for this card, I got it. And then eventually they changed it to just a MasterCard that I could use anywhere. I don't shop at Walmart anymore because we don't have Walmart in New York City. We have it in like Long Island and whatever, but not in the 5 boroughs. So I don't shop at Walmart anymore. But I do, I now have a card where I can shop anywhere. And so it's just out of control in a way that I don't understand. You know, when you like swipe your card, but you don't think you're swiping that much, or you don't think you're putting large amounts on it, and then you see your balance and you're like, how? That's the kind. I just don't understand it. I'm very confused by it, which is why I'm so ashamed of it, because it's like, you should have a better handle on your finances. PayPal is my most shameful off the lot, and honestly PayPal should have come before Capital One, because I am trying to do it in order of least to highest balance. PayPal has a limit of $6,840, and don't ask me how, but I owe $5,678.25. Again, do not ask me how. I don't know how this happened. This is actually ridiculous. I don't have a physical card from PayPal. The majority of this is Amazon and clothes. Literally. I am happy to say that I no longer have a shopping problem, but I did. And especially I remember there are times where First Financial Bank would just like be like, I'd be like at a $500 limit. And it'd be maxed out basically. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I really need this. I really need that. And then I check First Financial Bank and it's almost like they knew, and they would increase it to $2,000. And I would go to like Marshalls or Home Goods and buy a bunch of stuff for my room that total like $500. And it was so stupid and ridiculous, right? But at that time, I was really, really unhappy. I was so unhappy. And one of the things that I did was buy a lot of clothes and buy a lot of stuff for not my apartment, for my room, because that was my safe space. Like when I lived with my mom, I was in my room all the time. And it was the only place that like made me kind of sort of happy, and I could really get lost in like decorating it. Now when I look at the decoration, I'm like, what were you even doing? This sucks. But at the time it was very important to me, and it was something that I could really focus on and kind of get lost in. So there's that. At least at that time I needed this, I guess. I don't know if I would say need, but I felt like I needed it. Anyway, the subtotal for my credit card limits is $48,140. That's a lot of credit. My total balance is, this is where I wish I had a calculator so we could do it together, but balance is $18,769.78. And then my total minimum, this is what I was talking about earlier, $556.61. Can you imagine what I could do with that every month? I have to find almost $560 to go towards credit card bills. That's so ridiculous to me. If I had this in my pocket every month, I just can't function. Anyway, let's move on to student loans. We don't have limits on here, obviously. So we're just gonna bring this down. 48,140. Let me preface this by saying that I don't care about student loans. I do not. I look at it as another bill, like a light bill, that I am always going to have, and I do not care. I suspect that will change once I have to start paying a monthly bill like this or more, because I have friends who are paying like $600-700, even up to $1,000 on their student loans. But I am not the kind of person right now that cares about paying this off or, you know, making this a priority. So basically, even though I have a 6-figure debt, it's not like, that's not where that shame comes from. I also understand that I am a first-generation college graduate. Not even just graduate, I'm the first person in my family, between not just my immediate family, but like my extended family on both sides to have gone to college. So, you know, not counting like my second cousins or whatever, who we are not really, like my grandmother's family on over there, not counting those. But when we look at my grandmother and her kids and my cousins or whatever, I am the first person, and for a while, the only person to have gone to college. So I had no clue how this worked. None whatsoever. When I was going to college, Google was a thing, but not really, you know? It's not to the point where I was now, where you know easily, like, go research, you know? And so I did dumb things. So Navient, I owe $2,498. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot that I have, not a lot, but I have paid off a few small loans. I think, you know, $1,000 here, $1,500 there. When I used to work full time and wasn't really paying rent, whenever I did my taxes, I would just use that money to pay things off. So there's that at least. For the First Great Lakes, I owe $2,651. Again, minimum is 0 because of what's going on now with no interest added and no loans expected to be paid. Great Lakes number 2 is $6,500 and why can't I say that? $6,508. This is also at $0. Then AES, American Education Services, is $15,093. This loan is a bane of my existence. I have been paying, firstly, the loan was for $20,000. I have been paying the minimum and sometimes more. At some point my minimum was $175, now it's $180, now it's $167. I have been paying anywhere from $165 to $180 every month, except for 1 month last year when the pandemic had just hit and I wasn't working. Except for that 1 month. No, sorry, they gave me 3 months. Except for that 3 months, I had been paying between $165 and $180 since December 2011. That's 10 years. And I suspect that now that it's the end of the year, this number is going to jump so high. I'm going to put how much that average is out to be how much I've paid. And I think I could probably look that up. But this is disgusting. Anyway, this one, this is 2 Great Lakes loan put together because, again, I didn't have space. Sorry for the siren in the background. I'm not going to stop. Hopefully it's not picking up too much. The total for this is $108,977. There's one for $36,869 and another for $72,108. I do not regret this loan, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of this is from my master's degree. And I mentioned how my mom helped me to pay off a lot of this this credit card up here. So my mom's and I's relationship is very interesting in that it is very strained. We have a great relationship. We would consider each other our best friends. We talk about a lot. I can share anything with her. There's no shame. She is highly supportive. She's been helping me throughout my entire college career, and it's been a while, as you guys know, and just been overall supportive. But living with my mom was extremely toxic, and I talk about how I used to just spend so much money to create a space in my room that made me happy because I was so depressed. And I was using the bare minimum for my loans when I was doing my master's program. I only took out as much as I needed because the school, like, it was like you automatically got like 20 something $1,000 and you only needed like 8,000 or something. I can't remember the numbers. So I would only take out what I needed. I would buy books out of my pocket and I would take out what I needed for my tuition, and that was it. And one weekend we got into this argument. I was studying for an exam. We got into this argument, and that Monday I went to the financial aid's office and I basically was like, what are my options? What is the most that I can get? And immediately applied to get everything. And I think like within like a day or two, I got it in my account. It was super, super fast. And I used that to move out of my mom's house within 2 weeks. And so I can't regret this. Like this started my process of like, I don't want to say healing, but just creating a space that I was happy in. I moved to Manhattan. I had been working as a babysitter in Manhattan and Brooklyn, and it made me so happy to be in those spaces. And so I found a roommate. I moved into this tiny, tiny 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with my roommate was like a couple, and they had one room and I had one room, and we had no closets in that apartment, none whatsoever. It was between a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom on the second floor with one closet in my room, but I wouldn't have my own bathroom, and a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, no closets on the 5th floor of a walk up. And it was the happiest I'd ever been for a while. I just loved it. I loved being on my own. I loved like just not like my mom and my relationship got so much better because we were just talking on the phone, and I don't know. I can't regret this loan. Most of this is not from that loan. Like I said, it's a combination. I think I got that $20,000 over like 3 semesters or something. I can't remember because my memory is just really bad. One thing I will say that I regret is that I was really good about setting aside money for my rent. So from that loan that I got, I always had like the year's rent in my account, and then I was still babysitting while I was doing a master's, and so I would pay the rest of my bills from that. But I could have saved so much during that time because I essentially wasn't paying rent. I had it coming from my loan. I could have saved so much, and I didn't. And that's one thing that I regret about all the choices that I've made, is that I never saved. I always tried to, but I never did. I would always go back and take out. Anyway, all that being said, the grand total between all of this is, drum roll please, $154,497. I rounded that up a little bit. And then the total that I have to pay per month, this plus this, is $723.61. So what is the plan? Well, the plan is to do what I've been doing. I think I mentioned that I have like an Excel program. I know I did. An Excel program that tracks like, if you pay this amount, when will you have it paid off? And I will say that at the top of like my snowball journey, which was a few months back, I had it where I would have been paying off this card if I never used it, which I don't. I use it, but it immediately paid off. So I only spend it when I see the money for it, except for this Christmas that just passed, but we worked it out. Anyway, if I only paid the minimum every month, I was set to pay this off late 2024. I am now set to pay this off in a few months if I keep it at just the 40. Once I pay off the $200 and then keep it at just the 40, I won't just keep it on the 40. So I'll put that date here. I can't remember what it is. And then, as you know, once that's paid off, the $76 plus the $40 will be $116, and any additional amount that I have per year to pay this off. So that's my journey, and I am going to focus on these and only these. And then once I have no credit card debt, obviously I will continue paying the $167, but once I have no credit card debt, I can start focusing on my loans. But again, they are not a priority to me. I do not care about them. They seem like a bill to me at this point, but again, that might change once I start having to pay the full amount on these loans. So yeah, that was easier than I thought it would be. And maybe it's because I'm not posting it yet, I'm just recording, but it was easier than I thought it would be. I will continue to check in and kind of update you all as we go along. But until then, you know the deal. Have a great day, a great week, a great month, and a great 2022. See y'all in the next video.